It's Monday, January 6, 2020. What an interesting day in the stock market today. Dow Jones finishes up 68 points in the green, but it was down over 200 points this morning. I guess that $78 billion injection by the Federal Reserve into the repo market must have helped as the Fed comes back in to save the day, injecting $78 billion more dollars into the repo market, buying more stocks, buying more debt, and injecting more liquidity into the financial institutions, into the banks. You talk about real market manipulation. You are witnessing it firsthand as it continues into this first week of 2020. You know, shocking, as I was watching the Asian markets last night, Japan, the Nikkei, was down in the red 500 points. China was down around 350 points. This was late last night before I went to bed. And the metals were surging. They were able to kind of cool it down a little bit today in regards to the metals, but gold up, silver up, and the stock market back up. It's absolutely shocking as we enter this first week of 2020, the shenanigans that continue to play out, the injections of liquidity into our financial institutions. Anyone who believes that these markets are not manipulated, that they believe that these are real markets, believe that this is a real economy. But these people are drinking massive amounts of the Kool-Aid. You know, I have more respect for people who believe in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy than the people who actually believe that these markets are real. So while we may have fake markets, we have a real concern, not a fake concern, but a real concern with regards to Iran and these cells that they're threatening to activate across the United States of America, going after our grid, after our water supplies, and vulnerable infrastructure. These are real threats, unlike the fake stock market, which is an illusion, which is fake. What is happening now over in the Middle East is very real, and it should really concern you. You know, while I was out over the weekend driving around, the restaurants look busy. People are eating, drinking, and being merry. You would think that there are no concerns in the world because people are oblivious to the truth. They're oblivious to reality. So they continue to eat. They get bigger. They get slower. They get lazier, and they get more dumbed down. They have no regard to what is happening across the globe. They have no regard to what's happening to their own country while they eat, while they drink, and while they get even fatter and more dumbed down than they already are. I was reading an article today talking about how we should be preparing for Iran. And again, people are in denial about these threats of retaliation. They continue to eat, they drink, they don't care. But that doesn't mean that has to be you. Most of you watching this video are preparing on a daily basis. Most of you are awake, even more awake than myself, more prepared than myself. Look, I'm a guy here in Southern California in the desert who is making a video, who is thinking out loud, speaking for people who can't speak. I work for myself, so I don't really have to answer to anybody. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that if they say something publicly, that could threaten their job. A lot of people, if they even say something at home, that could threaten their marriage. So a lot of people cannot speak. And so I'm going to speak for them. But getting back to what is happening with these threats of retaliation, we have to know this, that they are here, okay? They are embedded in our cities across America, and that is a fact. They've been fitting in with society, waiting to activate, just like what happened an hour from my house, less than an hour from my house in San Bernardino. These were people who worked with Americans. These were people who went to work every day. I think they worked in the same office for 5 years. They sat next to people in this cubicle. They went to parties. They associated with these people. They blended right in. And then they ended up killing everybody in that office. And had plans to go out to the 91 freeway and commit atrocities. So again, these people had a history for years working at the same office, going to parties, being social with everybody, and just fitting in until they activated this plan and took the lives of many innocent people. Remember, these are your neighbors. They're possibly your local dry cleaner, maybe not yours. It's an analogy. They could be your Uber drivers, retail workers, people at your office sitting in that cubicle right next to you on a computer. You know, the person you talk to every day, have a cup of coffee with, have some small talk with, associates at work. I mean, we don't know who they are, but we do know that they are here. They're everyday people who spent years embedding themselves in society with the long-term goal to destroy this country by any means necessary, and they are waiting to be activated. Is the time going to be now? We don't know. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't make predictions, but I'm a realistic person. When a country like this threatens retaliation for what we did, it's quite possible that we could see retaliation. And does that mean it's going to happen right away? No. This retaliation could come down weeks down the road. It could come months down the road. It could come a year from now. But remember, these people are not going to forget. They're not going to go away, and they hate this country. But what I'm trying to get at here is you need to be awake and aware of your surroundings, and you have to especially be aware that there are a lot of these cells here. There are a lot of people here in this country for a reason. They're waiting to be activated. They're waiting to do something bad. We know when those caravans came up over the summer, we knew, this government knew, that many of those people were coming from very, very bad places from the Middle East. They were blending in and coming up through those caravans. And for years, we don't know what's walked right across into the U.S. We don't know people that got work visas who never went home. We don't know where they're at, who they are, and what their intentions are here. You need to be aware of that. You know, for myself, I'm carrying an extra a magazine with my firearm daily now. I used to just, run one mag in my firearm, that's it. Now I carry an extra one. And that's not paranoia, that's just preparation. That makes me feel better, it makes me feel safer. But to me, the risk level now has gone up, and I'm going to make certain adjustments for that. I'm definitely even more aware of my surroundings, and as I said, I'm carrying an extra magazine just for my own personal reassurance. And of course, I am training at least once a week, and I know most people cannot do that. They don't have the ability to do that, and I understand that. But take advantage of any free time you have to make sure you are training, okay? Security is the #1 asset. Whether the lights go out, whether it's an earthquake, or some cell lets loose in America and there's utter chaos, you need to be training, and you need to be getting out to the range and spending time so that you have faith in your security. Your life might depend on it, your family's life might depend on it, some innocent person's life might depend on it. So make sure you are getting out there and training. And another thing that came out today in the news is they are talking about attacking this president's properties now. We see a tweet that came out from a top advisor to the Iranian president, Hassan Rouhani, shared a list of Trump's properties on Sunday, including Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Now remember, this is a country that says death to America. Again, let me reiterate what I said the other day. I believe we need to get the heck out of the Middle East. We need to get the embassy out of there. We need to get these bases out of there. We need to get the heck out of there. We need to be dealing with what's going on here. But it's too late, okay? We've already stirred up a hornet's nest in the Middle East, and I believe there are going to be severe repercussions here in America, not just from this last incident where we killed this general, but from the decades of us being over there. And so expect something big to happen, and we may see many, many things happening here on U.S. soil. And I pray to God that cooler heads prevail. I pray to God that things just simmer down and that they just cool down. I really do. But again, I'm using common sense. I live in the real world, and everything that has transpired over the years, and knowing how many of them have made it over here, I believe that America is going to be seeing some terrible incidences occur on its soil at some point in our history here. And I don't think that we can avoid that at this point. And I find it amazing how laxed we are here in America with our grid, with especially our power grid, that anybody really could access it at any point. Anybody with a compact car could drive right through a gate and have access to the grid, doing whatever they want to do to it. And these things are so easy to disable, and there's no security, there's no walls, it's just a chain link fence. And so we are really susceptible to having real attacks on our power grid. Water delivery systems like the ones we have here, we get a lot of water from the Colorado River, and we have these open air canals and river sources. This can easily be poisoned. Airborne, biological, chemical, radiological weapons can be delivered by drones and small planes today. Fuel refineries are easy targets. Public places, concerts, subways, movie theaters, sporting events, etc. Explosives can be used at any of these places very easily, and this is very, very concerning. We have to know, as Americans, we have a lot of enemies in the world today. And we also have to take into consideration that if things start happening on the streets of America, things happen to our grid, our water supplies, this is going to drastically affect the stock market. This is the spark that lights the fuse on these unexploded bombs. And I cannot stress enough, especially this first week of the new year, how much chaos has already started. It's incredible. And this is a wake-up call to every one of you out there. I know most of you are already preparing, but for the people out there who might be tuning in today, the people on the fence, look, you better wake up and you better start preparing. America right now, okay, is very weak. And the people of America are extremely weak. Take a look around, okay? Really take a look around at the people here in America. They're overweight. They're drug dependent, okay? They're addicted to computers. They're addicted to pornography. They're addicted to video games. They are immensely unprepared for any threat, for any emergency, okay? And just think, if things started happening here, we have a very soft nation. The people have gotten extremely soft. You know, we had a Great Depression back in the 30s, and that toughened people up. We have not had bad times since the Great Depression. All of us have been very blessed for the most part with a very good life. If you're watching this on your $2,000, $3,000, or $5,000 computer, your $1,200 iPhone, you're probably a pretty blessed person. You might not think you are, but you know, if you're eating 2 or 3 times a day and you have a roof over your head and you're to sleep under, you're a very blessed person. Okay. And again, if you have a computer and a cell phone, you're considered a very rich person here on planet Earth. We take so much for granted. But if things start breaking loose here in America, and nobody knows, I'm not saying that they are, I pray that they don't, but people literally don't even know how to cook today. They don't know how to sew. They don't know how to be self-sufficient in any way. Most people don't even know how to operate a microwave for the most part, okay? We are now in a society that is dependent on fast food. It's dependent on Starbucks. It's dependent on the media making decisions for them. So we're gonna be in a world of hurt if things start breaking out here in America, because Americans just believe that nothing can happen here. And if something does, the government's gonna take care of it for them. I'm here to tell you, if you're waiting for the government to help you in an emergency, you're gonna be in real big trouble. So here we are in 2020, and I don't know about you, but it seems like this first week of January 2020. Things are expediting. They're happening faster. The chaos around the globe is intensifying. And as I'm reading all this stuff, as I'm watching news, as I'm talking to people, I have to sit back and think to myself, am I prepared enough for what is coming? And the answer is 100% no. When I read articles like this, and I'm going to highlight some points through this article, why you need to be preparing. And if you are preparing, are you preparing enough? There are things I could be doing better, 100%. I need to add more dry food. I need to add more water. There are just things I need to be doing. And sometimes I think I could be adding more gold, more silver. What else could I be doing? Do I have enough medication put away? Do I have enough trauma kits put away? Do I have enough training? Could I be doing more? The answer is yes, I could be doing more. And I know there's people out there that are doing a lot more than I'm doing. And I know that there's people out there doing absolutely nothing. And doing nothing is going to guarantee that you lose, that you're going to fail when this collapse happens. And if you're watching this video and you're one of those people, I pray to God that you get out of the matrix, that you get out of this bubble that you're in, and you start doing something and getting ready, because I truly believe that the days are getting shorter and shorter to the point to where we're going to meet this collapse, and we're going to meet it head on. And most people are going to be taken by shock, and they're not going to have a chance. They're not going to know what to do. Their life is going to be a living nightmare. And many people are going to pay with their life, and you don't want to be one of those people. Take this warning right now today and take it as an opportunity to put the odds in your favor and be preparing. But I want to go over this list, and you tell me, are you prepared enough? Or do you need to prepare? Do you need to prepare more? Or do you need to start preparing now because you're completely unprepared? 84% of U.S. stocks are owned by only 10% of this country. The U.S. government is $23 trillion in debt. We all know that. But for the people out there watching today, it didn't. You know it now. Global stocks have increased by more than $25 trillion over the past decade. The past 12 months, we have added right here in the U.S. $1.1 trillion of new debt. Every single hour, not day, every single hour of every single day, we are stealing more than $100 million from future generations of America. And this is another reason why you should have gold, why you should have silver, because you're going to be able to pass this on to your kids, onto your grandkids. Anything you leave that's on paper, whether it's a note on a house or a car or any wealth you have on paper, this government is going after, and they're going to make sure they tax the hell out of it before your kids get it. Total U.S. household debt is crossing $14 trillion. Total corporate debt has now reached 47% of U.S. GDP. It's the highest level in history. Do you think we're heading in the right direction or the wrong direction? I think it's pretty obvious. 70% of Americans are struggling financially. I believe that number is even higher. As we know, 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 63% of jobs created since 1990 have been low-wage jobs, and that's accelerating. Now you see everybody working for Lyft, everybody's working for Uber, everybody's working at Starbucks, everybody's got 2, 3, and 4 side hustles going on just to get by. 50% of American workers make less than $33,000 a year. That's pathetic. 24.6 million Americans have used an illegal drug in the last 30 days. That's concerning. 46% of Americans have taken at least one pharmaceutical drug in the last 30 days. We have a drug-addicted society. And if you're addicted to drugs, whether that's a pharmaceutical drug or an illegal drug, you better wake up. You better get your act straight here real soon, because when this collapse happens, the more things you're dependent on, the more you are at risk to not making it out of this collapse. The more you are at risk to losing your life and failing. So get ready your dependencies no matter what they are. Many people have a food dependency, right? I mean, they're addicted to food. That's why we have so many people, 300, 400, 500 pounds now in America. We have an obesity epidemic on top of this drug epidemic. How do you think the typical dumbed down American is going to fare when things get out of control here in America? I'll answer that for you right now. They're not. They're going to fail. They're going to lose. Many will pay with their lives. Many are going to suffer. And again, it's going to be a horrific time for so many people. It's going to be a rough time for you. It's going to be a rough time for me. But let me tell you, if you're dependent on drugs, if you're 300, 400, or 500 pounds dependent on food, if you have severe dependencies, no matter what they are, you're going to really suffer when this thing comes. Over the past decade, the suicide rate among young Americans is up 56%. Suicide for the entire U.S. population is up 41% from 1999 to 2016. Here's a prediction I will make. I don't make many, but when this collapse hits, you're going to see suicide rates go absolutely ballistic, okay? These are the good times. Look at the suicide rates in this country. What do you think is going to happen in the bad times? So you better get your mind straight. You better mentally get with it. Because bad times are coming, and you better start mentally preparing for that also. We know that the infrastructure here in America is collapsing. So is the educational system. 15-year-olds in China are almost 4 full grade levels ahead of 15-year-olds in the U.S. when it comes to mathematics. 23% of all U.S. children live with a single parent. That's the highest rate in the entire world. 40% of all U.S. babies are born to unmarried women. The average American spends 86 hours a month on a cell phone. The average person will watch 78,000 hours of television in their lifetime. How do you think these people are going to fare during an economic collapse? Heaven forbid we do have retaliation here on U.S. soil from the Middle East. How do you think these people would fare? What if we start receiving retaliation that leads into an economic collapse? What are these people going to do? They are completely unprepared. Many of these people can barely tie their own shoes, okay? Again, these are the people more concerned about how much my sunglasses cost or how much my shirt cost. And I'm here to tell those people, don't worry about somebody's sunglasses, the kind of car they drive, the shirt they wear. You don't need to be worrying about anything right now but yourself. That goes for all of us. We need to stop worrying about what other people are doing, what other people are driving, where other people are living, how much money they have, what kind of sunglasses they're wearing. It doesn't matter. What matters now is preparation 100%, okay? Because if you are not preparing, if there is retaliation, which leads to a collapse, or we just have one or the other, people are going to be in big trouble here in America. Again, most people can barely tie their own shoes. They can barely operate a microwave oven, okay? They're going to be in big trouble. The average person, the masses, the sheeple, are going to be absolutely dazed and confused when the day of reckoning comes to America. And I don't want anyone to be in that situation. Anybody watching this video today, you still have a chance. You have the ability and the opportunity to wake up, get prepared, and you know what? If nothing bad happens, great. You're a prepared individual, you have some wealth, you have your debts paid off, you have preparations, and you have peace of mind. Just having that security, that insurance, just makes you a stronger, better individual. Sometimes we have to make sacrifices in order to acquire things. I could go out and have a really nice, incredible steak dinner. I could go to a nice steakhouse like Morton's, have a great dinner for what's in this package right here. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you can only do one or the other, this is what you better be doing. And to me, there's times where I want to go buy a toy or I want to go get away for the weekend. And I just think to myself, that's a waste of money. Right now, this stuff is on sale, and this is what I've got to be acquiring. There'll be plenty of time for fun and games. There's going to be plenty of time for vacations. There'll be plenty of time to buy toys. And you're going to be able to have a lot of buying power if you're acquiring stuff like this in this package. We'll pop this open. Let's cut it. See what we got in here. I'll show it to you. And this is just some advertisement from SD Bullion here. Check that out. Looks like they're doing storage accounts. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. Me personally, I hold it. So let's get in here, open this up for you. And typically, like I said, if I'm ordering silver, I'll just pay with a credit card. If I'm ordering gold, I pay with a check because I'm saving money. But I've got 4 ounces here of buffaloes. One of my favorite coins. You've got the American Indian on the front, and you've got the buffalo on the back. So I've got 2 here, 4 ounces. And again, I can't stress enough, this stuff is on sale. And it doesn't matter where you buy. Just buy from a reputable dealer. If it's your pawn shop, jewelry store, coin shop, there's some really good dealers online. Again, I've been using SD Bullion now because it was highly recommended by the people in the comments down below. And so I've been using them now roughly for a year. They've been fantastic. Prices have been very, very competitive. Service has been great. And I usually get everything within a week. So cut out the Starbucks, cut out going out to dinner, and buy yourself some assets. Serious times are coming to the globe.